Hi, I'm Justin Barrett. I'm president of Blueprint 1543. I am a psychological scientist and former university professor. This is a video in my series on social scientific study of science and religion, or science and religion in context, as it is sometimes called. In this episode, I want to talk about science versus scientism. Science is not a meaning-making system. Scientism is. I'm bringing this up because I've noticed that in some of the recently funded social scientific study of science and religion, the theoretical framing around science and religion and how they might go together, or how people might think about how they go together, creates an equivalence between them by pretending that science and religion are meaning-making systems. But I find this comparison very strained. It almost feels forced, like we're forcing science into something that it isn't. For starters, science isn't a singular system at all. There's no system called science. There's no one thing called science. There are lots of sciences with lots of different scientific methods. They have things in common for sure, but there's no one thing that we can point to that is science. At best, science, this term we use, is an abstraction meant to point toward these lots of different social systems, behaviors, attitudes, dispositions, and practices for trying to gain knowledge or understanding about the natural world. But is this seeking this sort of understanding the same as meaning making? I think only in a very, very thin sense. Let me give you an illustration. So suppose you saw some cool natural phenomena, like, you put on, of course, your safety first glasses, and you see a total solar eclipse. Presumably, astronomy is the relevant science for the job of getting some insight into this solar eclipse. But imagine asking an astronomer, what does it mean? Well, the astronomer would probably tell you that that's the wrong question to ask, at least of an astronomer. An astronomer could tell you more about what it is that you're seeing, what the proximal causes of it are, what brought about this particular solar eclipse on this day. What is it that I'm looking at? What are the dynamics around that? Why is it happening today, but it won't happen tomorrow? Why am I seeing it here, but people in the other part of the world are not seeing it at the same time? But astronomers are not in the business of telling you what it means. What does the solar eclipse mean? For that, you might ask an astrologist, I guess. Usually when we ask what something means, we mean something like, well, what does it point toward? What is intended by it? What's the purpose it suggests? What does it communicate? This sense of meaningfulness is articulated really nicely by Crystal Park, a clinical psychologist and a very good psychological scientist, and David Hanna in the 2022 paper of theirs. They write, this sense of meaningfulness comes from seeing one's life as containing those goals that one values, as well as feeling one is making adequate progress toward important future goals. Together, global beliefs and goals and the resultant sense of life meaning form individuals' meaning systems, the lens through which they interpret, evaluate, and respond to their experiences. So global beliefs are part of a meaning-making system. What are these global beliefs? Well, Park and Hanna explain further. Global beliefs concerning fairness, justice, luck, control, predictability, coherence, benevolence, personal vulnerability, and identity comprise the core schemas, that's conceptual frameworks, through which people interpret their experiences of the world. Global goals are individuals' ideals, states, or objects towards which they work to be, obtain, accomplish, or maintain. So a lot of words in there. But one of the things that you'll notice is that emphasis on things like values, goals, morality, justice, identity. That's the stuff of a meaning-making system. The sciences are really good at lots of things, helping us understand better how things work, how to categorize and distinguish different kinds of natural phenomena, what causes what, even the creation of cool new technologies. But the sciences don't give us life goals, morals, justice, or identity. They don't give us that kind of broader meaning. Even focusing in on what the sciences are good at, helping us see order, predictability, causality, offering us a certain type of explanation for certain features of the natural world, It would be odd to call this meaning-making, except in a very weak sense. That sense being like to better understand or impose conceptual order on something. But that's not, as Park and Hannah show, that's not what we really usually think of meaning-making system or what makes life meaningful. If I'm in the woods behind my house, for instance, and I see scat on the trail. We know what scat is, right? I mean poop. I don't mean that kind of scat.
In Bangkok today, round the clock, well, they all like to jam.
So if I see scat on the trail, I could ask a field zoologist what it means. And the zoologist would probably chuckle and say, it means a coyote pooped here. But means, in this context, just means is evidence of or was caused by. Zoologists aren't generally in the business of explaining the meaning of scat. For that, you might need some kind of divination expert, a shaman or something, to explain the meaning of scat. Again, unless we're talking about music, and then I don't know if there is any meaning for scat other than it just sounds cool.
Indians on the Amazon.
But some scientists do talk as if there is this singular thing called science, and that it can deliver to us morality, justice, purpose, identity, and the rest of a meaning-making system. I think in error they talk this way. But look closely, and what these scientists are doing is bringing their personal philosophy or theology together with scientific observation and calling that science. They claim that science includes, say, a commitment to the betterment of humanity, to improve the flourishing of all creatures. Of course, none of that's true. That's not what science is. Science isn't about the betterment of humanity or the flourishing of all creatures. We can use the sciences as tools for the betterment of humanity, for improving the flourishing of all creatures or whatever you want to do with it. But it's a set of tools. It's not a meaning-making system. It's not a worldview. You bring your worldview to the sciences. Science is what scientists do. And scientists can do good things or bad things. They can use the tools of the sciences for improving the human condition or worsening.
Stop this! You're a man of science. How could you commit such atrocities?
Excuse you, mustard gas would like a word.
Excuse you? Solar energy has something to say.
Excuse you, anthrax has an opinion on that.
Excuse you? Penicillin would like to chime in.
The atom bomb.
But importantly, deciding what counts as improving versus worsening is a judgment that the tools of the sciences simply do not possess in and of themselves. Meaning-making systems do. So if you think that science is a meaning-making system with the capacity to tell us what's good and bad, to interpret our lives and give us goals and purposes, then you have transformed the sciences from a set of tools for learning and discovery into a quasi-religion or ideology. That ideology or quasi-religion is what scholars call scientism. Scientism is a meaning-making system. That's because it's not a science, but a science-informed ideology. Does chemistry teach us about fairness, justice, personal vulnerability, our identity, our purpose? Does geology, astronomy? Of course not. Because science and the sciences are not meaning-making systems. Scientism is. Let's not confuse the two. Thanks for joining me. I hope you found this helpful and thought-provoking. Please leave your comments if you'd like to hear me say more, explain more of what I've said, or point you to other resources where you can read more about this. I'll give it my best shot. If you have ideas for other videos you'd like to see, please let me know. As always, like, subscribe, and share this content if you find it useful. And until next time, keep using those sciences, but let's stay away from scientism. All right, bye for now.